Hello and welcome. It's time for DobbsQuest Season 2, Episode 1. This is the one. I'm not on the Ironsworn scene yet. That's by design. We got a little bit of introduction here. It's been a while. We got some voices on the call that you may not have heard in a long time. So what is DobbsQuest? Well, DobbsQuest is a tabletop role-playing game campaign. We are playing with the Ironsworn system, not Dungeons and Dragons. It's a little bit different. There are 3 players taking the part of 3 characters in this fantasy world. The players will make decisions, take risks, and determine what their best course of action is in order to accomplish their goals. And then the dice decide what happens as a result. So let's take a moment to reintroduce, after months since season 1 ended, our 3 players. We have playing the part of Serene, the Elven Bard, we have Daysnick.
Hello.
Playing the part of the sneaky Glane, we have GameCube.
Get ready for Season 2, Episode 1, Who Shot Mr. Burns, Part 2.
And the sturdy warrior, Torgan, played by Lurking Turtle Gaming.
DobbsQuest, the only game where you never know who's a horse.
That's right. All right, let's switch scenes and talk a little bit about the Ironsworn system before we carry on any farther. So, the main piece of Ironsworn is vows. These are what keeps the story moving. The party is trying always to move towards progress on one of their vows. Now, we've already had a little bit of progress made throughout Season 1, and we've kind of shifted a little bit what the party's overall goals are for Season 2, and there will be some more specific goals that crop up as the season goes on. We'll get into plot stuff shortly. You can see down at the bottom of the screen the 5 main stats. These are the ones that are sturdy throughout the game. Edge, how quick and nimble a character is. Heart, how well they are with people. Iron, how physically sturdy they are, their fortitude. Shadow, sort of stealth, sneakiness, deception. And then wits, bundles in intuition and force of will, that sort of thing. Now, as for the 3 tracks to the next to that, health, spirit, and supply. These are kind of, consider these your health bar, but more specific. This is how well the party is doing right now. Health being how physically well they are, spirit how emotionally or psychologically well they are, and supply being how prepared they are for the current situation. And then momentum is the final piece. This is a number that's going to change all the time. Typically, the party's going to want to keep these numbers around 10. This is sort of their one wild card. I really need this to be a successful roll. So they'll work on building it up by getting good rolls, and then when they really need a good roll, they can spend it all. All right, and now let's talk a bit about the current plot, bringing everyone up to date. Torgan, Serene, and Glane, an unlikely collection of Ironsworn. These are typically heroes traveling the lands that are bound in their very blood by the vows they take. And each of them embarked on an adventure for their own individual reasons. Torgan was seeking answers about his friend, who, let's be fair, season 1 started out quite a bit lighter in spirit. Torgan's friend, who was a talking horse and the mayor of his town, who was mysteriously killed under mysterious circumstances, and he was out seeking answers. Glain was seeking his lost cat, who was carried off by a bird. And Serene, the only one who kind of had a more serious tone in mind, was seeking answers more about her heritage, the lost culture of her tribe of elves. So all of them seeking something found themselves on a trip to the town of Woodbreak. A lot of things happened. Fast forward, we learn that, first of all, the horse mayor of Torgan's town was not killed, but may actually be in league with some sort of organized crime ring, as a pretty major villainous sort. We learned that Glain was actually working for this crime ring, the Brotherhood of Shadow, until he was tasked with torching Torgan's hometown, which he refused, leading to him being sort of on disciplinary leave, and is now kind of trying to avoid detection by this organization wherever possible. And as for Serene, well, the team did find some elves, but they were of a different tribe. But more questions were prompted by this. We learned that the elves that they found were sort of entrusted with protecting some mysterious sort of gateway called the Mana Spring. This is sort of a source of magic in the world. And after finding a second one on an island of centaurs turned horses. Good point. Yes, the bird that has Glain's cat is actually the eagle, which is the nickname of the leader of the Brotherhood of Shadows. So it was all true after all. The Mana Springs turn out to be a sort of controlled dam that holds back too much magic from entering the world while still allowing a steady flow in. Without the magic flowing in, it will eventually overflow, causing catastrophic destruction to the region. And so these Mana Springs are very important. And what the party has learned is that with some of them already destroyed, the land is pretty well doomed. But Serene has been taking notes. She has been drawing in her notes in just about every instance, every occasion possible. And she happens to have images drawn of the runes of the Mana Spring they had already visited. They have found that do marble notebooks exist in this world? You know what? It'd be a little bit heavy, but I don't see why it couldn't be done. With Serene's note, she finds that some of the runes that were unreadable in the first Mana Spring they found were quite clear on the second, while some of the runes that had been etched away on the second Mana Spring were quite clear on the first. And so the party has formed a plan. If they can travel to enough of the Mana Springs, they can piece together these missing runes and perhaps somehow create new Mana Springs, new magical rune circles that will restore balance to the magical flow and hopefully prevent the Ironland from being completely washed away in an unstoppable flood of magic. Pilot. I mean, basically. It may as well be. All right, that is the plot. We are 15 minutes in, and we kind of hit the high points. Day, GQ, Turtle, anything to add? Any major memorable moments you want to make sure are on the record for the start of season 2?
I left off in season 2 just having recovered from Fishlexia, which is the official name of what I'm calling that.
Mm-hmm.
Where I had fish rot in my hand, and it was cured by the mana spring.
Yeah, you almost died. I think you were the closest to dying in the entire season 1.
Yeah, somehow, even though like no enemy was ever within like 3 feet of me, I also almost died of heartbreak or something that we don't quite understand.
Yeah, you wouldn't have died, just become despondent. Very sad. It would have been rough.
Yeah, the worst part was like you made me give Glaine's fancy dagger back.
Mm-hmm. That's unfortunate.
So now I have like a shoddy dagger I grabbed off of some goon we had to off.
Basically, yeah. But hey, go ahead.
I was part horse for some reason.
Yes, we did find out that Torgan is actually part centaur, and that canonically the centaurs have, for some reason, somehow been cursed and have lost their humanity, so they take the form of horses. Except Torgan, who somehow has centaur blood but is not in horse form. Still unexplained mystery. But hopefully we get that figured out. Yet. Oh no. Alright, I think that's the long and short of it.
We did have to take away Glaine's shadow dance.
Yes. Glaine, once a creature of shadow, is after being cleansed by the mana spring and having to be forcibly separated from the veil, the sort of single connected shadow of the world, Glaine now has gained a sort of rudimentary command of light magic, which he's still kind of working on. It's not fully well documented, but we're getting there. All right, season 2 dive in.
Do we want to go over the stats changes?
Oh yes, let's briefly mention that. There was a bit of an excess of XP floating around. So, using some variant rules, we have spent 6 XP per person on bumping one of the core stats. Those are the ones highlighted in green. Serene's Heart ability has gone from 1 to 2. Glaine's Iron from 1 to 2, and Torgan's Iron from 2 to 3. So Heart makes a great deal of sense for a bard, for being a little bit more of a people person. Torgan, of course, being kind of the de facto tank of the group. Iron, very sensible. And Glaine, getting a bit of melee combat in. Very handy to have Iron available to really actually nail some attacks. All right. I think that.
See you next week.
I think that. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming. See you next time for season 3. All right. Let us start with a single die roll. Anytime I roll D3 to choose a character, we will just go with the charted order on screen. Serene 1, Glaine 2, Torgan 3. All right, so let's begin. All right, are you guys excited?
I get to do something.
You do.
Or something happens to you.
All right.
I woke up first. I slit both of their throats and leave.
The end.
Wow.
Serene, you're going to be facing danger with
So much-
Edge.
So much for that heart increase.
Rip.
Is
All
4
right.
our new roof of health, or is 4 just what we're at right now?
That's just what you're at right now.
Okay.
You know, got to leave a little bit of room to get things kicked off. All right. Let me get my soundboard here with all the neat little RPG sounds to get some wind effects here. All right. All right. Overhead, dark clouds are looming as a storm threatens to begin at any time. The old caravan that you have been traveling with has sped off ahead as the three of you brace yourselves to fend off the massive behemoth of a troll that has ambushed the caravan. Serene steadfastly dodges out of the way as the creature's massive club comes slamming down on the ground, leaving a mighty divot in the ground.
If we were going to be escorting and in combat, I probably would have my mask on. By the way.
Noted. Serene wearing a sort of elven mask made of a special type of wood that grants her extra abilities in combat. So technically +3.
Elven sight.
Yes.
But,
Better fix that divot. Before you stands the hulking figure of a troll, who is looks to be out for blood, and is a formidable-looking foe ready to attack. So, who wants to do what?
well, I just dodged, so apparently I have his attention. Can you give me a brief layout of kind of how we're organized on the ground?
However you feel the fiction would work best for you.
How large is this thing compared to us? Like big, twice as big,
Trolls
really
are
big.
about 2.5 times human size, typically.
Well, maybe D&D rules. This guy is hunched over. Now, if standing straight up, he would be much taller than you. But we're not talking about like double size or anything.
Most sized.
Yeah, he's still taller than you while hunched over. Well over a head taller, but he's sort of hunched over, terrible posture. But his long limbs give him a lot of reach with that with the club.
Like a really big gorilla.
Basically.
So we were ambushed, so are we going through, like, is the pathway we're on going through, like, a wooded area? Are there trees along the side?
Yes, this is a forested region that you're passing through. Traveling to your next destination on the road towards the Ashenlands. You have saddled yourself up with this caravan because there's a handful of people there that know not only where to find the Ashenlands, but exactly how to get there, and they are heading that way.
How convenient.
Yes.
Okay, so when I make my tumble to dodge, I'm going to try and fall back into the tree line opposite the troll, to take a position with altitude, find a nice tree limb. I want to break line of sight of the troll so that it doesn't know exactly where I am. And I want to secure an advantage by position.
All right. So let's see here.
Being the archer.
Yes, doing the archery thing and securing an advantage with a +3 on that. A weak hit. So a short-lived advantage grants you 1 momentum.
Woo.
But, that's better than nothing.
I like momentum.
Now, do you want to go ahead and attempt to take advantage of that newfound position?
Yes, let's try and put an arrow in it. I'll take a moment to aim to get my archery bonus.
All right, so Serene quickly finds some low-hanging limbs where she can get some quick high ground and cover within the trees, while the troll is distracted, trying to raise up its club for another strike. As an archer, you have the ability to take a moment to aim. Are you going to trust your instincts or line up your shot?
Remind me which one's which stat again?
Let's see. Trust your instinct is wits. And if it lands, you get a +2 momentum only on a strong hit. Line up your shot with edge, and you can take +1 momentum on strong or weak hit.
We'll do edge, because right now they're both 3.
All right, so we're going to try to secure an advantage for +3. Oh, and because of your archer talent, you actually get an additional +1 for this secure an advantage roll. And that is a strong hit. So you get 1 momentum for lining up your shot. And let's see here. And then, because it's secured advantage strong hit, you get to choose to make another move now with a +1 or take 2 momentum.
Let's bank some momentum.
All right, bringing that up to 6. And now you are ready to strike. You have the initiative. So, because you are attacking at a distance with edge and you are wearing your mask, you are getting a +3 on this. Oh. Ooh. Well, all right. That's wrong. That's bad for a few reasons. First off, weak hit, inflict your harm and lose initiative. So you have lost the initiative for the combat, but you did manage to inflict harm, which that in this case is going to be 2 steps of progress. Lose initiative, unfortunate, but not terrible. However, masked. You have a Thunderwood mask, which means anytime you are rolling edge and you roll a 1, you suffer -1 to the associated track of health.
Okay.
So, you're sort of channeling these elven spirits, your sort of ancestral training. And although it does help you to line up your shot, you feel a sort of draining force from the mask. Just a sort of life force seeping away ever so slightly. You've experienced it before, so it's no surprise, but it's jarring, nevertheless. All right, Torgan or Glaine?
What happens? For you boys.
What happens next?
I would like to take a knee and take my crossbow out of my cloak.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to try to land a shot either on the inner or outer part of the wrist that's holding the club to try to make it drop it.
Making a shot to disarm the creature specifically.
Yes, preferably if I have a shot at the interior, like, the part that would connect with his chest if you were to pull it close there. But if I only see the outside of it, then I'll aim for the outside of it.
All right, let's see here. Definitely trying to secure an advantage there. But also trying to injure the creature specifically. How to chain that together? Let's see. All right, you'll aim for where he's gripping the club and hope for the best here with a secured advantage. This is a precise attempt here, so you're going to be rolling with. This is going to be edge, which Glaine has an edge roll of 2, and no special bonuses. Yeah, that's a good point. Do we have any special abilities? I don't think so.
Not that I would have to be using my dagger, and it would have to not know I'm there to get anything out of this.
All right, so let's see what happens here. All right, Glaine grabs his crossbow from beneath his cloak, takes a moment to line up the shot and tries to see if he can disarm this creature in some way. Oh! Not bad, not bad. A strong hit and a match. So we're gonna count that as an attempt to just kind of hit the creature, but not actually making the strike. But we could count that as a +1 towards a strike move here, if you wanted to kind of chain that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see here. For a strike.
I don't know if it's for everyone, but your ooh was a little bit of a spoiler on how the dice rolled, because it rolls a little slow for us.
Noted. Oh, because you guys aren't gonna... Well, if you're watching the Discord call, you probably will see it.
I'm not.
Oh, well, there's your problem. Yeah, chat's gonna be... Or the stream is gonna be behind the live feed. Alright. So, this is attacking at range with edge with a +1 from your secure advantage. For a total of a weak hit. Barely. You inflict your harm, but you lose initiative. Alright, so you're just holding on to at least dealing damage, but the creature is kind of taking over combat here by having the initiative. Let's put a pin in that match for now. Well...
Does he retain his club, or did he drop it?
He sort of fumbled with it for a bit. So it's not quite in hand. It's on the ground, but it's still well within reach. All right. Torgan, why don't you take your... Let's see what you can do here. Let's see if you can hold on to initiative.
Okay, so question: are we already in the fray, or is this an opportunity for me to do it in the fray roll, or entering the fray roll, in order to try to get some momentum?
If you'd like to, since we kind of breezed over that, you can go ahead and make your move to enter the fray with your Kinblade. But it does run the risk of you not succeeding.
I say that the reason I ask is because if I score a hit with my blade bound, I would get 2 momentum out of it.
Let's see. +1 momentum on a hit, whether strong or weak. Oh yeah. And then you could take an additional 2 on a strong hit. That would be pretty nice.
I don't have to. I can make an attack. No one else entered the fray. Is why
I just wanted to kind of get things moving immediately.
That's fine. Okay, so I would like to strike.
All right.
I would like to strike at its knees. I'm trying to bring it down to our level.
All right. Striking with iron, which is now a 3 for you. All right, here we go. Oh, a strong hit. Additional harm dealt. Let's see here. So that brings it up to 7, and you retain the initiative. You manage to slash at the creature's lower half, putting a nasty gash in one of its legs.
That's also a match, so we get a bonus effect.
It is. All right, so the situation changes somehow in your advantage. One of the travelers from the caravan, armed and ready to engage, comes in to lend aid, suppressing fire. You on your travels so far, you have made new friends and some new enemies. This is someone you have been talking with on the caravan so far. This is one of the people that is heading towards this next settlement with you, to hopefully that you're hoping can bring you all the way towards the Ashenlands. Who is this? Who is this friend of yours?
I'll bet they have a name.
Serene, who is this?
George.
All right. So it's a he.
Yes.
Hope I assume.
Everyone
see.
else has fancy names, but
George.
this one's name is George.
George. Thanks, Hudson. All right.
Yes.
Let's see. GQ. What is how does George help in combat? What kind of fighting does George do? Like Serene is an archer. You're kind of the stealthy sort. Torgan runs in with a sword. What does how does George aid?
George has. Just making this make stuff up, so it's going to be weird.
Yes.
He has kind of these little spiked. I don't want to use the word ball because that's too basic, but little tiny mini maces that he slings, kind of in like
a flail.
A twirl, and then throws it.
Oh, like bolos.
Well, not
Bolo?
two-sided though, just one solid
He just
like a
he
whole
just chucks them at
pouch of those. And
like
just
a
slings.
sling.
Yeah.
All right, fights with a sling. Metal bullets from a sling. All right, so he's gonna lay down suppressed fire. And Turtle, what's George's personality like?
George is overzealous.
Overzealous.
Yes, maybe rushes in without thinking.
All right.
Very, very akin to me at times, but worse.
All right, so he's a leap before you look kind of guy. All right, and here he goes leaping. Thankfully, the battle is already swaying towards your favor with Torgan's latest attack. But as Torgan turns around to confirm, that this blow was as expected, and making sure he doesn't need to jump out of the way of a collapsing creature, he sees a sling bullet fly into this creature, striking it in the head, which does net you an opening that you can make another attack.
I would
And
like
he
to attack
also
again.
Just
All right, here we go. And another strong hit brings it to 10 progress. Rolling to end the fight.
Yes.
All right. Success.
And a match.
And a match. This foe is no longer in the fight. They are killed out of action or surrender as appropriate to the situation and your intent. How handy. Let's see here. Where's my
So does the match mean we get a good loot drop? Yeah.
loot, huh?
It'd be unlike GQ to loot.
Yes. 185. Okay, Oracle action theme 1185 break fame. The troll that you have managed to destroy has recognizable markings on it. Glenn, quick to take a trophy.
with my resupply ability from my veteran skill.
Ah, yes. Wants to resupply after combat. Because, of course. Oops. R.
We always need troll guts.
It's true. Guys, we're low on troll guts.
Precious troll eggs.
So for
maybe their blood's poisonous or something.
That would make sense. As a veteran, when you resupply by looting the dead on a field of battle, you can add +1 to your roll and take momentum on a hit. So, Klein can roll wits to see if he gets extra goodies. So this is going to be with a +3 because of your veteran bonus. And that is a strong hit. So you get to take 1 momentum for getting a hit on the resupply, bringing you up to 3. And also, that does bring your supply back up to max. He did not explode into gold coins, but you at least got various supplies. This troll seems to have been a bit of a pack rat, just kind of carrying all sorts of things in a bundle on its back, which mostly junk. However, among those items, you find a few items of use that you're gonna hang on to.
I could hide my face with this loincloth.
Ugh.
No. The trolls can be rather nomadic. It wouldn't be weird for it to have, a few knives or, maybe some rope or something.
Exactly. A few
Some snare
mundane,
traps, maybe.
some mundane odds and ends, but things that will help you on your way.
Granted, troll snares are usually big enough to catch something much larger than a rabbit, but
Yes.
we can work with it.
Yeah. Upon seeing the creature fall to the ground, George kind of does a fist pump. What does George sound like?
Oh boy.
Which of the
Yes.
5 voices does he get?
With the posh one.
He's posh.
Nah, he's got to be like this deep bass kind of.
Is he kind of the clumsy sort? The
He's
lovable
Southern
oaf.
He's Southern IT assistant.
I
Southern
would like to have-
British.
An interaction with George, if I may.
Of course.
Don't throw him.
Don't
After-
you throw him.
He's an adult. I only throw children.
That's canon.
I can't. They're heavier. I can't. Anyway, I grabbed some of his spike pellets that he was throwing off the ground and returned them to him in his hand, kind of roughly, to kind of give him a bit of a poke. And, next time, stay in the wagon. We had that.
Oh, I can help but lend a hand where I can. Oh, you. Ah.
Did
You were
leave
drawing
the wag-
unnecessary attention to the wagon. We had it.
Did
keep
you
that in
leave
mind.
the wagon unattended? You're supposed to be protecting the wagon while we were handling the troll.
Oh, I'm not the only one taking care of the wagon, of course. We got.
Are we gonna go back and find the wagon raided by bandits?
Go on. Doubt it.
That was just one troll. The other trolls are after the wagon now.
They're typically solitary creatures.
The caravan has a handful of capable sorts riding along. George is one that was written in as someone you have become friends with, though there may be a little bit of a begrudging friendliness there, by the sounds of things.
I'm friendly with him. I understand where he's coming from.
He's just overzealous.
All 3 of us.
He might be a little younger. Maybe it's more of a we've kind of adopted him temporarily kind of situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe he looks up to us and wants to be an adventurer himself one day.
Is he young? I mean, he's
Like,
not of throwing
young.
age.
Not like young, but like early 20s maybe.
Okay.
Like still green, but not inexperienced per se.
Right. Yeah. It just, he kind of a little bit more buff than his peers, and so he's taking on these big jobs and maybe
He's
swinging
ambitious.
above his weight class.
He's ambitious.
Yeah. Well, with the troll, let's see, and let's see. All right. He's not the only one heading to the Ashenlands. The Ashenlands are a fairly inhospitable place, you've heard. So there's at least one other person traveling with him in the caravan that he is much more familiar with, but he's kind of very interested in outsiders and getting to know people. Hence his
Maybe he's
friendship with you.
maybe he's the younger brother.
The younger brother. All right, pair of brothers.
You have the competent one and his heart's in the right place one.
Right. Sort of Abbott and Costello pair.
Yeah, it's a different intelligence.
He's not dumb. He's just he's just green. That's all.
He's young.
He'll learn.
Cycle.
All right.
Torgan gets it. Torgan remembers being a teenager.
Yeah. The point is he's good with a sling.
It's been a bit longer for Serene.
Right. Well, you are able to rejoin with the caravan just as the rain has begun to fall. So, catching back up, it's a little bit of a hustle to get there. Let's see here. There we go. But you have caught up with the caravan. Many different carts carrying different supplies, trade goods, people, various supplies, both for the caravanners and for the destinations they're taking things to. Currently, the lot of you are heading towards Bulwark. This is the first settlement on your stop, and is sort of the last settlement before entering the Ashenlands. As such, it provides sort of a good trading post for these distant settlements that are far off into this more inhospitable lands that you're going to be heading towards. So the four of you hustle back up and meet back with the caravan and let them know that the troll has been dealt with and will not soon be troubling travelers again.
Or ever, hopefully.
Yes.
I mean, I don't remember necromancy being on the menu.
No, but you never. George goes over to meet with his older brother. What is his older brother's name? I'll roll for it. Let's see here. This is 76. Lucia. Older sister, Lucia.
Yes. Tomboyish type.
Yeah. And let's see, what kind of role does Lucia have?
Serene probably likes her better than her brother.
Right. 33. Mystic. You know what? Yeah. Sure. Yeah. The Mystic and the younger brother who is a overzealous slinger.
Well, maybe he just wants to protect his sister.
Yeah.
That's noble enough.
Being mystic, she's probably not like trained in like any kind of hand-to-hand, more of
Right.
you know, more of intelligence
Mhm.
and maybe.
And we have established in this campaign setting, magic is not the sort of flashy throw a fireball thing. Mystics are more of sort of the ritualistic, you know, I'm going to, you know, look for omens in while watching the birds, or I'm going to, you know, put out a ward that might help keep evil creatures away. Lucia. Yeah. So it's not that magic is weak so much as it is not flashy or overt. Well, speaking of, GQ, Glane does have a little bit of light bearer ability, and we're gonna roll to see how much your light track starts at for this campaign. This is sort of your mana pool, in a sense. What you're able to do is when you use light to overcome or navigate darkness, you can make a +2 on that roll at the expense of 1 of your light bubbles. Or when fighting a dark dwelling foe, you can choose an amount of light to unleash to use as an attack roll bonus instead of using like edge or iron. You're starting with 4 out of 6, by the way. Not bad. You got over this, you know, you beat the split. All right, so George goes back to meet up with Lucia and kind of make sure that the rest of the caravan was okay. They had no trouble. A few other sort of strong travelers have been protecting the caravan as well. One of them you've not been getting along with. I would ask for a name, but I fear the Pokemon naming convention would take hold, and this guy would become Butts or something. And so we're gonna roll randomly. Name him Dove. I'm gonna roll on the name table 5. This is, well, I can't call him Glenn. That's way too close to Glane. Griff. That's perfect. It's just a few lines down. Griff. A gruff sort. And what does Griff fight with? Preferably normal weaponry.
Staff.
A staff. Yeah. He bludgeons enemies. But he fights well with it, you have to admit. There have been a few other attacks on the way. But he does kind of eye you and maybe mutter under his breath about something or other. It seems that you can't quite catch what he's saying, but the tone indicates a sort of derisive sort of, yes, very good. Not satisfied with your work kind of thing. But everyone else seems, on the whole, grateful for protecting the caravan. You're sort of earning your keep. You know, they're providing most of the food and rations for you in exchange for your travels with them.
Serene gives him the side eye and just kind of does the pointed, I heard that look.
When Serene is traveling these days, does she still try and hide the mask? Or is she
Not
kind of
so much.
getting
she
a
kind
bit
of,
more?
She wears it under her hood, kind of on the side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like those Japanese little masks you use as hairpins. So it's most of the time it's under her hood, but it's very accessible.
Right. Okay.
She does still kind of keep her ears covered for the most part.
Okay, but still kind of becoming a little bit more at ease with showing her true self, in a sense.
There seems like there's less to hide from.
Right.
Most people look at me and don't know what I am anyway, so...
There you go.
There's very little knowledge of elves in these lands.
Okay, so let's see here. The caravan pushes onward to its next point in its destination. An abundant hill. The rain continues to come down as the cart struggles a bit against the forming mud. But the caravan does safely make it to sort of the last stop on the journey before arriving in Bulwark. This sort of hilltop vantage point gives you a bit of a view of the distance. On a clearer day, George tells you, you would be able to see well into the Ashenlands from this point. Though with the downpour, visibility is a bit minimized at this point. He points out into the distance at various locations and notable spots that you can't actually see right now, but he excitedly sort of points out all of the spots that if you could see, they'd be very impressive. You've been talking a bit with George and to some degree with Lucia, who's a little bit more standoffish, a little bit more reserved, but tried to get what information you could about the Ashenlands. For the most part, those that live out there are a bit more secretive. Though, by the sounds of things, there's no great secret to be kept. The land is difficult to thrive in. It is past a desert of sorts, where the ground is very ash-like, a sort of fine, sandy-like soil that is a sort of dark gray as you get further and further into the Ashenlands. Some great cataclysm years ago rendered the land pretty rough for any sort of agriculture, though a few sturdy, scraggly plants survive, making enough of a home for bugs and lizards, and further up the food chain, some larger animals that still make their home out there.
So are we talking like volcanic wasteland, or?
Based on their description, it seems to be in line with that sort of thing. Though no active lava flows is, going across the landscape or anything. How much information about your current mission have you divulged in hopes of gaining information back in response? Because the more information that you provide, the more conversations may have been springing up that leads some more information that they may have towards you.
I'm researching elves, and I heard that there may have been an abandoned elven settlement out in the wastelands. I want to go find it.
There you go.
It's close enough to the truth, but with just enough omissions to
Right.
to be safe.
Whatever happened to that friend that we made on the island? She gone?
Oh, yes. Parted ways once you were back to the mainland. And she basically swore off sailing.
Blame her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with enough supplies from the borrowed Brotherhood ship, she was able to retire early and spend the remainder of her days as far inland as possible.
Good for her.
Yeah. You know what?
Won't even go out in the rain.
Exactly. Yeah. She picked the driest region that she could find.
In the middle of the city.
Yes.
Yeah.
Though the settlement is still a ways off, and in this rain, you're not making much progress. Not at the speed you would hoped. All the travelers are kind of in agreement that this is going to be a good place to set up camp for the night and finish out the last leg of the journey in the morning.
If we're making camp, then I have an ability that would be useful right now.
Ah, so you do.
I'm looking at Storyweaver 2.
Yes. Let's see here.
I'm being smart and have the spreadsheet open tonight.
Look at you. Alright, Storyweaver 2. When you make camp and choose the option to relax, you may share a story with your allies or compose a new story if alone. If you do envision the story you tell, and take an extra spirit or momentum, and any allies who choose to relax may do the same. So, for that to work, we need to actually make the make camp move. This is rest and recover for several hours in the wild. You get to roll with supply, which, thanks to some looting from Glane, you guys are at maximum. So we're going to roll for that and hope for a strong hit. Strong hit and match.
Woohoo. We're doing good on the matches tonight.
Yeah. All right. Let's start with a strong hit. You guys get to take a +1 to 2 of those items there. Health, spirit, momentum, or +1 to breaking camp, which you guys aren't really doing that because you're not traveling alone, so we're kind of hand-waving that.
I would like some health, please.
That makes sense. You can take 1 health. If you take a second one, that will cost supply.
I will also take spirit.
Which will grant you an additional momentum because of your make camp. Glane?
I will take health and momentum.
Why don't?
And if you take relax, you also get momentum because it affects my allies.
Yes, Serene's make camp ability that is in effect means that by taking spirit, you get a momentum for free. So we're going to get you that one for your second. And Torgan?
I'll take the same, a health and a spirit.
Look at that. Well, just like that, you guys are back on your feet.
And I get to tell a story, so
yes.
I'm up there. You know, everybody's settling in. People are making food as best they can, and I just kind of hop up in the rain on one of the circled wagons and start kind of telling a story about. Oh, let's tell the wyvern story about how we slew the wyvern, and. We had, and Glane got these pretty shiny daggers, and everybody's laughing and like, no, you didn't, no, you didn't. And then I have pull Glane up there by the arm and have him show off his pretty daggers.
There's much oohs and ahs.
Yes, we make a grand performance of it.
Yes, spirits are high tonight, despite the bit of downpour. Let's see, match. You guys get a little bit of extra information about the area. With all the stories being passed around. Serene always kind of keeping an ear out for any tales. You hear a bit of information about something you have heard of before, though details have been fuzzy at best, but you're getting kind of a bit of confirmation that this is a thing that is around this area. The Varro. These are Varro. These are a sort of wolf-like humanoid creatures that roam the wilds, and they are active in this area. apparently they're very territorial, and some of their recent warring between their clans have driven some of the other dangerous creatures kind of further into the areas near settlements, such as the troll you encountered. Very likely not usually that close to the road.
Which
Wheelbarrow.
makes sense why he had the nomadic pack on his back that we looted.
So a little bit of bonus information about some of the surrounding dangers that you should be on the lookout for.
And she takes ample notes on this new creature because it's not something she's come across before.
Mm-hmm.
And she's always interested. One of her particular areas of interest and study has always been abnormal or possibly magic inclined creatures and fey kin type entities.
Are they described as like animals or like a civilization?
Not super civilized in a sense. They have a language. Communication is possible with them, but not particularly heard of. They are very violent. Typically settlements will just kill them on sight if possible. Anywhere that they have claimed as their land will usually have some signature marking associated with their clan.
So very
Traveling
tribal, territorial.
very territorial. That is one of their main drives, is to claim land. And if you find one of these sort of markings indicating that you are in their territory, advice is go back to wherever you were as soon as you can, or you will almost certainly be killed. But yes, word on the street is that they have been kind of warring and kind of pushing outward a little bit further than usual as of late. And so everyone is reminded to be on their guard.
Did they describe this mark to us?
It differs between each clan. Each of their clans have their own separate carving symbol. But usually, if you see some kind of scratches in trees, that is sort of the hallmark of their claims. A very obvious sort of, something clawed a marking into the tree here.
Duly noted.
They're very tribal, not particularly organized, but at least in a sort of clan society that they can set up planned attacks on opposing clans, that sort of thing. All right. Anything else to take care of?
What are my poison arrow counters at?
Ooh, that's a good point. We will want to roll for that as well. Two. Perfect.
Yeah.
And I've got Torgan marked as geared for war. But I can shift you to lightly armored if you'd prefer.
I mean, as long as we're traveling, I should probably
Be heavy duty.
stay. Yeah.
Alright.
It's not like it's really affecting anything as far as momentum anyway. So.
True. Not yet, at least. It's only a matter of time. All right. We press on.
Okay.
All right. The next day arrives. The rain has let up. You're able to travel the rest of the way on relatively dry ground. So, with the sun creeping over the horizon, the caravan begins work on breaking down camp. And you get a somewhat sluggish start, but eventually making your way to the settlement of Bulwark. That is Bulwark. Now, let's see here. This is, in a sense, this is the culmination of an undertake a journey maneuver. And so we are going to roll against a 10. That shouldn't be an issue, but it's always possible. All right. You arrive. The settlement is not on fire.
Yay!
Lovely.
What
Well,
more
they
could you
need
ask
to
for?
pull that out, so.
Yeah.
Dove.
Dove. Oh, they definitely winning. So, with that, you arrive at Bulwark. This settlement is you could almost describe it as a fort, sort of. It is heavily defended. Large, impressive walls surround the settlement. Doors wide open for the caravan. Yes, definitely. The settlement appears to be fairly well stocked. A lot of the trading caravans seem to be gearing up to supply the trade line that is going to be carrying through into the Ashenlands. One other piece of information you picked up is that the Ashenlands are particularly wealthy in iron ore, which provides a great deal of metals into the Ironlands. Although the Ironlands are sort of named for iron, it is more of a name for the people that are hard as the metal found there, not about the quantity typically found. Though, on average, it is a fairly mineral-rich land.
Well, since they seem so friendly and we're always looking for friends, maybe we should try to, what's the word I'm looking for? We try to make friends with them?
Sojourn?
Yeah.
You could. I will advise that right now, aside from momentum, you're pretty well topped off on your tracks, and rolls are dangerous.
But we don't really need it at the moment. Let's give them a reason to like us first.
Yeah. Now that said, there is something going on here. All is not perfect here. But what is happening at Bulwark that is noteworthy? 76. Broken truce.
No, the truce with wolf people.
Ah. Golems everywhere. A sort of unspoken agreement with the Varro is that they do not claim land too close to Bulwark, and in exchange, we don't push out our land any farther than we need to. Something has gone astray with that. As a
Someone
result,
has crossed the dotted line in the sand.
basically. Now, who? First of all, does it matter? But if so, who crossed the line here?
But it was that little fellow we made friends with.
George. Let's just, you know what? Let's just give it a 50-50. Evens, it was the humans. Odds, it was the Varro. Okay. The wolf folk have crossed that line. They've been getting more more fierce in their land grabs. A little bit too confident. Now what's... Oh boy, what is this going to lead to? 6, 16. Ooh, 6, 16. Swear innocence. The Varro have... Like, everyone in the settlement is kind of up in arms about the Varro breaking this sort of generations-old truce held with Bulwark. A Varro was spotted near, probably just near the settlement, outside the walls, but way too close. Very tense talks have been arranged. The Varro, in rough language they can manage, swear innocence, according to the Oracle, and say that no such violation has taken place. As such, the settlement is a little bit up in arms about that.
Who saw the Varro?
Ooh, well, all right, let's see here. Who was it that saw the Varro? What was the nature of this spotting that happened here? Let's see.
And I mean, was it just one? Was it like one got lost and it was an accident kind of thing, or?
Ooh. A sort of mistaken... it was innocence by intention.
Or was someone trying to stoke a war inside the camp?
Ooh. These are all excellent questions.
You know, maybe it wasn't that clan. Maybe a different clan sent a scout.
That's true.
And
Whatever.
The ones we're talking to don't know about it.
This could be it. That could be it.
Are there distinct visual differences from one clan to another?
Not enough for humans to really tell. They would not really notice. If there are physical differences one clan to another, it'd be too subtle and perhaps would be more of a matter of scent. The Varro with more honed senses would be able to tell very quickly who is part of which clan, but humans would not be able to tell. One of the guards spotted, and his story has been corroborated by another at his post that same night at a different section of the wall. Later investigation revealed wolf-like tracks in the ground. It was last night, and the muddy terrain from the rain left very clear imprints. Those aren't wolf tracks, those are definitely Varro.
But is lone only one?
It seems so.
Would the tracks indicate that it was moving quickly? Or was it perhaps an injured individual that was lost in the storm?
Right now you're hearing a lot of rumors,
Mm-hmm.
but you yourself are not investigating at this time, unless you'd like to. Right now, although an interesting matter of curiosity, is there reason to get involved?
I mean,
We have pretty big things going on in our life.
Yeah.
I guess for what it's worth, you will be here for a few days. George and Lucia are there's business to attend to before the trading caravan pushes onward.
Serene has an academic interest and is
Mm-hmm.
very curious, so she might just be a little nosy, but we've got bigger problems, really. But she's also curious if these Varro creatures might know something about elves.
the question I have is the way from here clear? Do we know where to go from here?
Not really.
Okay.
The Ashenlands, though not a featureless desert by any means, is difficult to traverse and navigate.
So we're definitely stuck waiting for our friends to finish up.
Yes.
This isn't we wouldn't really want to go out wandering on our own terribly much.
Exactly.
This isn't the caravan's destination. This is just a waypoint.
Yeah, this is the last stop before heading into the Ashenlands. There is but one settlement, let's say one known settlement in the Ashenlands, and that is where George and Lucia are heading. That is where they are from. And it deals, it has a great deal to do with trade. Very, very high volumes of metal exported from this settlement in exchange for other more mundane goods, food, textiles, some lumber, because you can't really get good wood out there.
Okay, so next question. The Varro, are they, when we say they're territorial, are their territories primarily in the woodlands, or do they extend out into the Ashenlands? Are we going to be traversing Varro territory as we go further out?
Alright, at this point, I think you're probably gonna need to make some rolls and try and learn some stuff here.
Gather information?
Yeah, always. Or equivalent. Let's see here. So we're going to be working on, it is in fact gather information. When you search an area, ask questions, conduct an investigation, or follow a track, roll wits. This is not a community with whom you share a bond. Serene's wits are a nice 3.
Mm-hmm. So she's going to be at the local tavern, picking up rumors and, asking questions, prodding.
You're very proud of that, aren't you, GQ? Okay, alright, so it's sort of a lot of what people are talking about, so it's not hard to insert yourself into some conversations about that. Oh boy, now what is this? The mixed snail. Oh no. Turtle, have you seen this? Alright. A weak hit. The information complicates your quest or introduces a new danger. Oh.
Yep, it's Varro territory.
Perhaps so. Yeah. So, alright. Bulwark is not exactly on the border exactly. There are still more woodlands beyond. However, a lot of those lands have been claimed by Varro. The truce has sort of indicated that the road to the Ashenlands remain unclaimed. However, all this business kind of puts that truce into question. If the Varro are getting more bold with their expansion. Who knows? The road may not be safe after all. If the caravan can't even make it to the start of the Ashenlands because of Varro, then there's big troubles to be had. So it may be worth actually getting to the bottom of this after all. This could put a stop to the caravan continuing. Actually, yeah, absolutely. That's a lot of the business that that George and Lucia are trying to straighten out before they're comfortable with the caravan continuing. Right now, they don't feel like it's safe until this situation is resolved.
Does this town have anything other than territory and land that they're after? Like food or treasure or supplies of any kind?
Bulwark's principal value is that of a kind of a trading point, a pit stop on the trade road. The Ashenlands have such a high volume of valuable metals and some gems that that just having a safe road is worthy of just having an entire settlement there.
But is there anything in the settlement that is of interest to the Varro?
Nothing that you couldn't already get from the trade road.
I was seeing if maybe we could set up some kind of a lure, like put stuff outside the town, just outside the walls where they've been seen.
Right.
You know, cover it with food, but there's either traps or, depending on how extreme you want to get, explosives.
Oh,
or
gosh.
whatever to like. I don't know if we're just trying to capture one or, you know, whatever.
We don't want to force a war if we can find a peaceful resolution to this claim.
Blaine wants to blow up a dog.
Oh, but
He wants
if we
to
can
throw a
capture
child
it
and blow up a dog.
in that territory, then we can prove that they're here and then do
Blaine,
something with that.
I think you need to go sit in timeout, buddy.
You know, I think the only thing for us to do is the same thing we always do, and that would be find who's in charge.
I mean, let's say you do find, you know, who's in charge. What do you do with that information?
Well,
Ask them to fix it?
I don't want to step on Lucia's toes, because it sounds like she has some kind of authority of some sort, since she's from the place we're going to. She probably has some kind of representative authority or something.
Right.
So I want to see if I can tail her a little bit and see if she'll allow me to accompany her on some of her business and meetings and talking with who's who and what's going on, and maybe see if I can bump into one of these wolf people. I'm very curious.
Well, probably not in town, but I like where you're heading with that. Is just kind of try to gather more information at this point. Any alternate ideas from Torgan or Glenn, aside from blowing someone up?
I mean, maybe we can straightforwardly ask if we can help.
So, I'm going to propose a plan for the group. So, I suggest Torgan, having the, the warrior aesthetic and the people skills, like, maybe just approach, like, whatever the equivalent of the captain of the guard is, and just offer to, be support and help while we're here. I'm going to see if I can shadow Lucia, and, maybe, let's cross our fingers, maybe our reputation precedes us. Maybe I'll meet some people and talk to some people. And, Glenn's really good at being hearing without being seen. So maybe he just
Mm-hmm.
goes and kind of stalks the various taverns and bars, and we all just kind of follow our independent strong suits, and just kind of find what we can learn. And just everybody kind of
Yeah.
do some snooping
Mm-hmm.
to the best of their abilities.
Independent play. It could be played out as aid an ally, like Glane and Torgan both aiding Serene's information gathering in their own unique ways.
Right, it's mechanically for
Yeah.
the dice
Mhm.
purposes of the dice.
Yeah, I think that's how we'll roll it out. Is that individually, Glane and Torgan will roll a secured advantage roll, and any bonuses that are obtained, we pass on to Serene for the big roll of gather information.
Seems reasonable.
But for gather information, we need some well-defined question. Not specific question, but well-defined information we're after. But we can start with Torgan and Glane here.
Because maybe the roleplay aspect of their various encounters
Right.
would give us some insight into what we should be asking.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Torgan, what are you going to be doing?
Well, I mean, it's been established that there's a guard system here, so I am going to go to what looks like maybe a police station of some sort, an old-timey village police station, and ask to speak to the captain of the guard.
Straight to the captain. Let's see here. Now, are you just a straight off the street? Nobody knows who you are here. I mean, you look the part, but
see, I thought of that too. But the thing is, it being that we've established that one night in the rain we told of our glorious battle, at least one. The people in the caravan have probably been speaking amongst themselves and know, like, oh, these are great warriors. They've got some sort of experience. So maybe it's gotten around that there's this band of heroes amongst them, and maybe the captain's already heard. So I could just say, hey, you've probably heard about us. If there's anything we could do for you, let me know. Maybe not necessarily tip my hand that I know that there's a wyvern. I said wyvern, not wyvern. Know that there's a situation with these Varos, and maybe he'll ask for help.
right.
But I won't press it.
Well, just if nothing else, you've got a nice sword and a sturdy looking shield and some nice armor. Just volunteer to be like,
I want to help.
We may have overly tipped our hand with the story.
Well, we'll see. All right. Well, let's give this a compel roll with a heart, which you've got very good heart. You got heart. So Torgan is just wanting to help. That's basically it. Hey, I want to be involved. Somehow, I want to help. Oh. No.
No, they don't want my help.
They don't. They refuse or make a demand which costs you greatly. And pay the price. Okay. Well.
You smell of horse.
That's true.
Maybe they're just not keen on outsiders.
Maybe that's it.
They're like, this is a sensitive situation. We don't want outsiders involved.
Yeah. All right. They're not interested in your help. First of all.
Great.
In fact, this is kind of drawing a bit of suspicion.
They don't want you to help because they're trying to cause trouble with the Var.
Ooh.
They wouldn't have to stand guard so much if there wasn't such a big threat on the
If only
path.
there wasn't. Yes.
It's too peaceful here. We need
Yeah.
to stir up something.
Okay, so that did not go well. You didn't really gain much information, except that the town is a little bit wary of outsiders. Still useful to some degree, but definitely not what you were hoping for. Meanwhile, Blaine, I believe you were going to be trying to basically eavesdrop as much as possible in all the right spots to try and get a little bit more information.
Yeah, I'm going to because there's tales being possibly told of us in this town because of the stories and all. I will invert my cloak to whatever color is the alternate.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have that
Suddenly look
two-sided
different.
cloak. You know, so I'm not like, hey, it's that guy in the green thing. Like, I'm brown now.
No, that's brown cloak. It's a different guy, probably.
Whole different guy. Yeah.
All right.
So, and I'll just kind of go to the different, taverns and populated areas and just kind of open my ears. Not actually engage with anybody.
Right.
Just people are talking about this. It just happened yesterday, so
Yeah.
there should be a lot of loose chatter.
Now we're playing this as you're kind of helping out Serene, trying to kind of point her in the right directions. If they might have some information, check with them. Or if you actually hear any hard details, you're going to go for that. But for the most part, this is going to be assisting Serene. Weak hit. So a short-lived advantage. Okay. So mechanically, that is +1 momentum for Serene. Now what is that actually doing here? 21, 22. Preserve labor. Blaine has identified a few people that work outside of the walls, very close to sort of the undrawn line of Varro territory. And he thinks they might be a good lead. They haven't mentioned anything outright, but this might get you something. So he's like, maybe check with them. While he's just kind of skulking about.
Yeah, just slide up to them, buy them a drink.
Yeah. A couple of woodsmen. And so Serene is going to move in to gather information from these fine, upstanding citizens.
Sure, let's go for it.
All right, so let's see what we can find out here. We're trying to figure out just what's going on with the Varro. Like, what? Did these guys see anything unusual that's been happening, or they just maybe have their ear to the ground a little bit more than anybody else since they're a little bit closer. Do they see the Varro very often?
And I'm a little bit of a herbalist, so
Yeah.
I can start the conversation with what local kind of plants
Yeah,
are good
yeah.
for things, and I can kind of transition to
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be going into the Ashen Lands. What should I be looking for?
Yeah, all that
What
stuff.
kind of supplies do I need? And then just kind of transition into do you think this Varro talk is going to cause a problem for the caravan? And just kind of
Right.
what I've heard a lot of rumors, but do y'all know anything in particular?
Well. And you have 8 momentum. Perfect.
That is the single worst roll I think I've ever seen.
That's pretty bad.
Wow.
And it's a match.
And it's a match.
And it's a match.
Oh, I get it now, Germ. A dire threat or an unwelcome truth.
Yeah, they're that caravan ain't going nowhere.
Um,
And
these
you ain't getting any of
guys.
your stuff because that's all Varro territory. You're screwed, lady.
These guys do know a thing or two about what the what the Varro are capable of. Yeah, just up the road, there's an old, what's left of a settlement. It is Rosehaven. Rosehaven used to be the last stop on the way to the Ashen Lands, but now it's a ghost town, completely razed by the Varro.
So are they being like dead serious, or are they kind of they know I'm a bard and are trying to kind of liven up the story a little bit and like kind of play it up?
The vibe you're getting is that maybe the details are a little blurred, but there is a nearby settlement, or used to be a nearby settlement, that the Varro claimed.
Okay, so this is a dead serious conversation. Like, this isn't them trying to... Okay.
Yeah, now, timeline of this is not a recent occurrence.
Yeah. This is a once upon a time, several generations ago.
Right, perhaps before that agreement.
Yeah.
So they're definitely capable of wreaking havoc. They just haven't for Bulwark.
Right. So they're all despair and bad omens, and
They're like, oh, this doesn't bode well.
they're so I definitely was told you're out of luck, lady.
Basically. Yeah, if you want anything to do with the Varro, which you don't, then just pick a direction and just start walking into the trees.
Her comments are gonna be like, well, I have no interest in getting my throat slit. I
Yeah.
I was just... That's not on my to-do list today.
I have a Varro-related question.
Okay.
Have we heard, maybe I missed this, have we heard, are the Varro just their own race, their own thing? Or, like, is there, like, can one become a Varro?
No, it is its own thing. They are
they're
not-
humanoid, but
Not
no.
lycanthropes.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, it's not
this
like they're
isn't something
werewolves.
where, like, little Timmy got scratched and came back to camp, and at night he turns into a Varro and knocks things over and goes back to bed.
That would certainly
There's
be
a
an
Varro in
interesting
the
story. Let's start over. No, they are a separate species. You do get some vaguely useful information. You at least now know kind of where the line is drawn on the western side of Bulwark. There is a river that runs north and south. Anything on the opposite side is Varro territory.
So, any good places to get herbs? Any good shops in town? Where would you go?
Yeah, you return to sort of mundane conversation and get recommendations on all the best places for medicinal herbs and otherwise.
She buys them a drink and bids them farewell.
Yeah,
Is the McRibbon season?
all the information that's fit to know.
Fit to know?
That was a match. Something's gotta change. But what?
Well, I have a suggestion for a plot twist.
Ooh. Okay, go on. I've got one too, but I want to hear yours.
I'm gonna DM you real quick on
Okay.
Discord.
Plot twist. The beasts are actually giant McRibs.
Perfect. What the twist?
Does that guy come across very well? He's very
No,
small.
absolutely not.
No.
I might have to edit him.
You
Or
just
change
need his
entirely.
head. Just his head.
Just a big creepy head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Just
Perfect for
spin
your
2
plan.
slots and do a 2-parter.
Oh god.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Just do one emote of berries and one emote of cream.
See, my suggestion was pretty simple, really. But
Ooh.
it could, but if
Yeah.
that would make sense.
Yeah.
That would make some sense. But I'm sure yours is better.
Well, I just thought of a slight tweak to mine that might be better or worse, depending on which direction you're looking at. Oh, now I gotta decide.
You know what I haven't said this entire episode?
What have you not said?
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Okay, I'm just gonna I'm gonna roll for it. All right. On an even, George is the problem. Odd. This might be worse or might be better. While you are talking, someone comes in frantic a little bit, sort of asks a question of somebody, gets an answer, a kind of a non-committal answer, runs over, asks someone else, a little bit more frantic, and so on. Someone says in all of this hubbub about the Varro situation, this woman comes in and says that she can't find her boy.
Blaine, have you thrown any children recently?
Define recently.
Since Flint.
No comment.
Look, a lot of stuff happened between seasons that we don't have to discuss. But this this maybe issue is now getting bundled in with there's also a very serious other issue going on now.
Okay.
And
So
the question bubbling around, and very quickly, Serene is taken with seeing in action the rumor mill at work, turning away this small tidbit of information, seeing it morph before her very eyes as she watches the whispers sort of circling through the tavern, as the now very solid truth has become the Varro have taken someone.
She looks over at the woodsman and rolls her eyes and approaches the lady. Ma'am, I understand you seem to have misplaced a child?
It wasn't even thrown recently. And I gotta roll a name, don't I? So I'm not trusting any of you with this. Hard
You
to
didn't even get
toss.
a chance.
8. Tio. Little Tio is gone.
Okay. Where was the last time you saw?
Oh, let's see. It's
What
Tio.
does the kid look like? How old is he?
Yeah, the usual. He's about Flynn's age.
Ugh. You mean fling?
Flank? Oh no. Of course. Let's see
like-
here.
14, I think, is what we settled on.
Yeah, somewhere vaguely.
Old enough to be useful, but not old enough to be in charge of anything.
Exactly that. Let's see. All right. Do we have a hard suspicion that he is in fact out in the woods, and if so, why? Oh no! All right. The last one to see him was one of the other children who ran and told me that Tio had grabbed his father's wood axe and said he was going to take care of the Varro problem.
And this is why you don't talk about shit in front of children. Okay, cool.
Ooh.
So Serene just rolls her eyes so hard they about fall out of her head.
Mm-hmm.
And is like, and just like, okay, so if there wasn't a problem before, there's definitely going to be a problem now, and looks at the woman very sternly. She's like, have you told anybody in authority about this just yet?
Well, right now she's in the phase of just like trying to make sure. Wait, no, surely that couldn't have been right. Someone else has him right now. Please tell me you saw him.
Yeah, but that's where.
But that's it.
That's what Serene's gonna ask.
Yeah, that's where we are now. So no, absolutely not.
Well, is his father's axe missing from the house? Because the Var wouldn't take that too.
Yeah.
So Serene's just going to be like, do you want me to escort you to the captain of the guards office or something?
She knows the way.
Trying to be sensitive, but doing a bad job of it.
Right. Only a heart of two.
Well, she's more annoyed than anything.
Yeah.
Because she's seeing what this is doing to the rumor mill and how much trouble it's going to cause.
Right. Ugh.
So she just wants to get this woman out of here as quickly as possible.
And if you send an order of guards out there, that's not going to look good for whatever truce is left. Actually, yes, exactly that. The thing I just said, but intentional and not offhanded. She has a bad feeling about what's going on. If the guards start getting involved and run out there, then any hope of maintaining the peace is out the door. And this will boil down to an actual fight that might somebody's getting wiped out.
Or worse, my interaction with the captain of the guard went so badly he thinks that we're somehow involved.
Gonna be wolf-like, aren't you there, lad?
If only there were a group of
No,
strangers
he's a
nobody would
horse.
think of.
Exactly. If only. And that's when George pops up. I know of a set of folk that might be able to help you out in this situation.
Serene looks George straight in the eyes and walks over, grabs his shoulder, just abandons the woman, and grabs him by the shoulder and drags him out of the bar.
Oh, thank you, Serene. I was feeling a bit tense there. Thank you. Oh, that feels lovely, lads. Thank you.
She just once she gets him outside, she's like, do not volunteer us for trouble.
Oh, well, don't you see? This is perfect.
Nobody here knows us. They have no reason to trust us. We've already discovered that this town doesn't like outsiders. Just this isn't our fight.
Oh, but just
It
think
needs to be.
Just think of it. You want to get out there quick, take care of business? Well, take care of this real quick. I've seen what you folk can do.
George,
Slew a wyvern, eh?
George, honey,
That's what you were saying last night.
you're really sweet.
No offense.
But I'm not interested in getting my throat slit today.
Mechanical question.
Uh-huh.
How many of these Varro would we say would be banded together in a clan? Or against us? Like, hundreds?
A pack, if you will.
100 sounds... Let's say average clan size of around 40.
Great.
But that's for a full-on clan. That's like taking on an entire settlement.
Great.
They don't travel in packs of 40
No.
when they're out and about. That's like if you found their den and jumped in.
Yes, exactly.
Great.
That's if you decided to go with the torch the village approach.
We're not gonna do that.
No.
You don't have 40 traps to trap 40 dogs.
There've been
Or explode them.
there's been peace for generations. We're gonna see what to do about making sure it stays peace for generations more.
Just think, the first step in that is making sure some numbskull kid doesn't get a war spark going on right in the middle of some kindling. Hmm?
We're going to let his mom go report it to the authorities. Torgan was gonna go introduce himself to the captain of the guard. They know we're here.
About that time, Torgan running out of the guards building, kind of cowering a bit as he scuttles out.
Serene looks up and just kind of drops her head, sighs, and shakes her head at the ground.
And Glane is here too, so the team's all back together.
Morgan walks up to Serene and tells her that didn't go so well.
Elaborate, please?
I don't think they want our help.
Well, then we should stay. We should keep our distance unless we're needed. Do we have lodging lined up yet?
No, but it should be easy enough to take care of. Traveling with the caravan, they should be able to hook you up.
Yeah, find the nearest hotel that takes troll guts.
Mm-hmm.
So Serene suggests that we go back to kind of wherever it is that we can have some privacy
Okay.
to talk and kind of compare notes on how conversations went.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you
Figure
guys
out
are
what we know and what we don't know.
you guys find an area to discuss things and get everyone up to speed on what exactly is going on and what has happened and the recent complications that have just occurred that may be throwing a wrench into things. That perhaps a ticking time bomb.
Did I ever find Lucia? Or has she been kind of AWOL?
You haven't seen her around, but you can probably find her if you want to spend time searching her out specifically. Gosh, those children, you know?
Oh, does George have anything useful to say other than volunteering us for trouble?
I mean, that's still firmly his stance on the matter. Is that guards around here are not going to be helpful. Once they head in the woods, fully armed and ready for a fight, diplomacy is probably off the table.
So, George, where's your sister?
I can go look for her.
Maybe she has some better ideas.
Okay.
Or maybe she would have more clout politically and would be better positioned to maneuver us in a direction that's useful.
Lane is looking out the window and feels the need to get some air.
All right.
Wants to go for a walk.
Glane goes for. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Somewhere out there is a child.
Let me know when you'd like to come around to me.
Let's go ahead and see what's going on with Glane.
Well, one of the things that Serene's going to ask is if there's a library or equivalent local, like any kind of records that she might study.
Okay, library break.
George. Yeah, that's what she asked George.
Okay.
Like, is there somewhere I can go read up on local stuff or whatever?
There may be. Let's target Glane for now.
Okay.
Let's see what's going on with this.
I would like to saunter out to the area where the tracks were very obvious
Okay.
that were seen.
Mm-hmm.
And
Are they going to let him outside the city walls?
What? Oh yeah.
Okay.
They're not locking down people or anything. You can go.
Is there a clear direction that the tracks go off into? Or if I were a child, I would map out that that's the way that the Varro are.
Yes. Tracks heading out west. And although you've never seen a Varro before, it is a very clear, almost wolf, but not quite wolf kind of track.
Are there any idiot children tracks there alongside it?
There are not. The ground, well, I guess the ground is still a little damp from the rain last night. Some faint footprints that could perhaps be tracked.
I quietly and quickly and unannouncedly followed that path.
Bye, Glane. Meanwhile, Serene's going to the library.
Serene wants to be somewhere she can be found easily.
Okay.
But she also doesn't want to... Look, we've been doing a lot of drawing unnecessary attention to ourselves the past several months, and...
I mean,
she
you
would
are
like to
Iron
take
Sworn.
caution.
That's just kind of a thing that happens.
Yeah, she'd like to take the, She has an idea that Lucia probably knows a little bit of something.
Mm-hmm.
So she sent George to go find his sister. She's going to the library to learn what she can about the Varro and just anything that could be useful.
All right.
That's written down on paper and might be a little bit more solid than... a little less skewed than by last night's events.
Torgan?
I am clearly not wanted in this situation, and I have really nothing else to do, so
You can hitch your wagon to Glane, tail him.
That seems like a terrible idea. Let's do it.
That's
Well,
what I like to hear.
I didn't tell anyone where I was going. Can he follow me if I just slipped out?
I just happened to see you out of the corner of my eye because I'm not welcome in the army type people right now.
It's true.
And, so I've got nothing to do but observe, and I saw you kind of slip out, so I, in my not very sneaky way, kind of tailed you.
From a plot standpoint, it would be interesting if he followed. Now, Glane, would you prefer that Glane knows that Torgan is there and interacts, or carries on unaware?
No. Oh, I want to try to be sneaky.
Oh,
Like, maybe he doesn't
well,
know
that may help Glane make his decision. No, he can't be sneaky. I'm the sneaky one. I'm the one that sneaks.
Has our trust in Glane been repaired at this point?
It will never.
We were kind of. It was kind of questionable at the end of last season.
I mean, I feel like about like around the third act, you guys kind of like, all right, this guy has sacrificed a lot on our behalf. I'm not gonna trust him near my unattended wallet, but I will trust him with my life. I think that's kind of where you guys stand with Glane right now.
Okay.
Is that you feel like he can be trusted on the big things, but not the small ones.
I've got tunnel vision, following my tracks and moving quickly and quietly. So unless Torgan announces he's there, I'm not really gonna pick up on him being behind me.
All right.
Because he's not right behind me. He's probably like eyesight.
Yeah.
Further back.
Well, this is an interesting situation we find ourselves in, and a perfect spot to call the end of episode 1.
Yes, the tracker, and an herbalist, an outdoorsy person, an archer, ranged weapons person, is going out to do research.
Yes.
And
while
work the
everyone else
political
jumps
scene.
into action.
And work the political scene, because that's what she does. She wants to, not make enemies in this particular situation.
Well, I mean,
And
you're not going to be able to
separating
avoid
always
that. That's kind of the way the game works. You're going to have some enemies.
Separating always works for us.
That's it.
It usually does work out, yeah. Awkwardly enough. Not quite supposed to be that way, but...
It didn't work out the first time.
No.
It did.
Well, eventually.
It did in the end.
Well, there you go. Interesting first episode. Already, I had ideas planned out, and we're already off the rails. I love it. Why did I bother?
Well, you
All right.
let us make decisions, for one.
That's true. You know what? I just shouldn't let you do anything. We're just gonna sit here for an hour and a half while I tell you what happens.
He's just gonna write a book live.
Yes, I'm gonna write a book and just have you guys read lines. All right. And I've still got the Troll's health tracker. Get that out of here. And we're already at Bulwark. All right, we're good.
Our initial vows are gone.
Yeah, I've just got those off to the side.
Oh.
Because you all have like a single consolidated vow at this point. That's kind of your main quest at this time. There are still those background vows that are in the back of your mind, but this is kind of a fate of the world sort of adventure that you've started embarking on.
That will encapsulate the other things.
Yes. Now, I think those will occasionally come up as sort of the multi-season, like, big moments that'll occasionally happen, but not super likely for rescuing Gary, since that requires going back to the Bastion, which is smack dab in, like, at the start of the Ironlands, while you guys are going to the ends of the earth. So that one may not see much movement.
Well, it depends on how hard the Brotherhood stalks us.
That's a good point.
They could show up any place, I suppose.
Yeah. Could be in the woods right now.
Maybe they're the ones pissing off the Varro.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's 2.
All right. Well, there you go.
Blaine, have you seen any Shadow Walkers around lately?
I hope the Brotherhood is feeding Gary the food he likes. He's got a sensitive stomach.
Mm-hmm.
That cat.
Well, everyone, thank you for joining us for DobbsQuest Season 2, Episode 1. Tune in a week from now to find out what in the world is about to happen with this whole mess that has been unwinding.
Yeah, I can envision it now. George is gonna run into the library, holler in my name, and he's gonna be like,
Abbott! Abbott!
He's gonna be, Serene, this is what's happening. And I have this crucial information for you. Where are the others? We are all needed for this, like, special important meeting where they're, like, going to actually officially sanction you to help. And then all of a sudden I'm gonna be like, I don't know where the hell the boys disappeared off to. This is a problem. Why do they always do this to me?
Alternate reality. George runs in. Serene, why is my name George?
Help! It wasn't. I swear it didn't used to be George. I don't know what happened, but now I've always been George, but only for like the last day or so.
I had a medieval name at one time. It was like Bartholomew, and now I'm George.
My sister's name is so cool. What happened?
Well, there you go.
can rename George if you feel that strongly about it.
No, I love it. I love it.
All right, good. Because we're stuck with it.
George. It's fine.
Sensible. All right, that's it.
We can spell it funny. So
The end. Good night. Good night, Twitch. Tune in next week for more Ironsworn shenanigans. Do you three have anything you'd like to plug?
Hey, I do this on Mondays again now.
Yeah, we're back, baby!
GQ and I are going to keep doing Portal at some point.
It's gonna be awful, yeah!
Yeah.
Come back next week to see a character death.
Oh.
It's Serene.
Oh.
Somehow in the library, the books stabbed me. I don't know.
It's Serene
Where's
in the
your
library
card?
with the candlestick. All right, that's it. In stream button. Good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.